I'm super sorry to do this to you, but Moses dies. You kind of go into Deuteronomy thinking that it's the chronological continuation of the first 4 books of Moses, and that's kind of what gets you into it. It's basically a really big speech. Ooh, there is stuff in there I would never have thought of. And honestly, I try to avoid reading Deuteronomy if I can. It's really disturbing. It's uncomfortable for me because I love Tanakh so much. And when I read Deuteronomy, especially, over the years, as I've revisited the text and suddenly read it in the new light and reading, thinking the things that I think today, I'm more disturbed by it and more upset by it and more upset by the ways that I explained it away to myself as a child and as a teenager, and there's stuff in there that is just not okay. So it's troubling. I recommend reading it once, familiarize yourself with it. Get to know what kind of stuff it says in there, because it's worth knowing. It's fun being able to whip out, oh, well, you don't like Leviticus 18:22? Well, check out Deuteronomy, blah, blah, blah. There is some really, really good comebacks in there for that stuff. Some helpful guidelines, for example, what to do if you're walking in the woods and you encounter a nest of pigeons and you want to eat the eggs. What happens if you marry a woman and then you consummate the marriage and then you hate her the next morning? Really super helpful, Safe ways to acquire a slave. A nice list of pretexts for going home from the war if you do not feel brave enough to fight. And then at the very, 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 very end, there's this little bit of text that's like, oh, P.S. Moses died. And then you ask the question, well, if Moses died, then who's writing this bit? And the answer is very simple. Moses was a time traveler. Okay, that's obviously the correct answer, but the answer that we got when we studied it for the first time was actually that the last paragraph was written by Joshua, which, let's face it, boring, not the real answer. There are some little details in Deuteronomy that are helpful to have read before you start reading the prophets, because it'll be like little anecdotes that you'll pick up and you'll be like, oh, hey, there's that thing that they told them to do in the Deuteronomy, and you'll realize, oh, cool, this is possibly the time this book was written. But the truth is, it's really different from all of the other books, and it's nasty and it doesn't feel good to read it. So, bottom line, 3 stars. Don't recommend.